Hi friends, we're back. I know I promised you all a video about traveling, so here it is. Today we're going to be talking about how you can plan your dream trip. I'm honestly so excited because this is honestly one of my favorite subjects. I think traveling has honestly like changed my life, and I just feel like I always need to have a trip planned in my head to like keep me going in life. It's like the only thing that really just like makes me excited and like just keeps me accountable because I'm like, I gotta save because I gotta go to this trip. So I'm so excited to share with you all some tips and tricks that have helped me. I feel like honestly, I've been truly blessed to be able to go to like over 20 countries before I'm 30. Which is honestly a blessing because I didn't grow up traveling. My mom didn't have enough money to take 4 kids anywhere in the world. She took us to DR a few times, but we didn't really travel anywhere else. And so I'm so happy that I got to experience that in college and then I kind of continue going after that. I think traveling is just a beautiful way to like be inspired and to meet people who are doing things that maybe you didn't even hear of, and just get a little inside scoop of how other people are living. So it kind of also humbles you a little bit as well. And I could go on and on about just like my favorite things about traveling and like what it does for the soul, or my soul at least. But yeah, I'm super excited. As many of you may know or not know, I've been to places like Africa, Thailand, Cuba, Iceland, so many beautiful places. Sometimes I think like, what was I thinking planning these trips? But honestly, all glory to God. Every single one of my trips have gone amazing. I honestly leave it and give it to God. And I do a lot of research. I know a lot of people don't travel and are scared to kind of plan their trips because traveling can be very scary, but also it can give you a lot of anxiety because so many things can go wrong. I do want to start there, but I think once you do your research, like, you will be fine. I think it's just trusting the research that you did. If you have a plan from the point that you get there to when you leave, you will feel much more comfortable in leaving and making sure you have a great trip. So that's what I'm here today. I'm going to tell you how I plan my trips from point A all the way till we return back home. And hopefully it can help you plan your dream trip and get you started. So I'm excited. Let's do it. All right. So now you know how I love my Notion templates. So I created one just for you that's very simple that anyone can use to help you get started and brainstorm and kind of just help you get started in planning your dream trip. So I'm going to be looking at my laptop here because I have the template here, and I'm just going to break it down for you on like how my brain works when I'm planning a trip. So I think first and foremost, like the number one thing that people don't travel, the number one reason why people don't travel, I think, is because of money, because traveling is expensive. It's expensive. But I don't like to use that as an excuse. I think like everything in life, everything comes with a sacrifice. And you know, if you have to maybe not go clubbing, not go to the club, not go to all the brunches every weekend, maybe chill with the coffee once a week, or like stop with the takeouts, like, you can go on a trip. I really believe that it just takes you being aware of how much it costs, and you saving in order to kind of get you there. And so I think, especially if you're from a big city like New York, like, you easily spend $500 to $1,000 on a weekend. Like, trust me, I've been there. And with $500 to $1,000, you could have a whole 3 to 4 day trip somewhere else, enjoying it, exploring, eating good food on a beach with the sun. Like, it all just, you just have to change your perspective on the way you spend. But like me, if you're a person who likes a big picture and kind of just wants to see what it looks like first, we're gonna dive into like how much a trip is if you're on a budget. And if you have money to splurge, great, that's amazing. I know I don't yet, right? But I don't allow money to be an excuse as to why I don't travel, because I end up wasting that amount of money doing dumb stuff in the city. So that's my first point here. We're gonna get started on this template that I created for you. Again, you can do this in a Word document or anything that you want. I think first, obviously, you wanna pick a location that you wanna go to and some dates. If you don't have dates right away, like, that's totally fine. And even better, because then you can kind of figure out when the cheapest dates are to travel to that location. So for flights and transportation, obviously that's the first thing you want to look at. But before I even get there, like all of these things that I have here are like the main things that you're going to need to go to any country or any location. Obviously, you need your flight to and from. Transportation, like you need transportation to get to the airport. If you want to do activities, restaurants, you want to make sure you have in mind like how much you're going to be spending on like Ubers to go to locations. Hotels, obviously, you need a place to sleep. Any restaurants, activities, that you want to do. And then kind of when you get a gist of all these things, we can create a budget breakdown of how much everything's going to be, and then get into like the beautiful part, which is like the itinerary. So first things first, we're just going to brainstorm here, just to kind of how I just started. Let's say I want to go to a random place. I'm going to look and brainstorm some flights. Two websites that I like to use when I'm looking for flights is Kayak and Google Flights. So I like to use Kayak, for example, if I'm going from New York to London. I like this little color scheme that they have going on here because it kind of tells you like the best days to travel and kind of gives you a rough estimate on how much it's going to cost. So for example, I'm obviously going to go green, right? So let's say I want to travel from like for a whole week from the 27th to the from August 20th to the August 27th. I love Kayak because it gives you sort of an idea of how much everything's going to be, and it also just gives you all of the airlines that you can possibly take. And it also, even if you want to change it and be flexible with the dates, it allows you to do that as well. But something else that I also love is that it also lets you know like where you can buy it. So certain prices are for certain websites. So let's say Expedia has a certain sale going on, it will let you know, and it'll kind of tell you where you can go and buy it if you just click here on select. So roughly here you see a flight round trip nonstop is $481, which is amazing. Again, we spent $481 on a weekend with food or any of that. So that will be the flights. Again, Google Flights is also an amazing website to use. It kind of does something similar where you can see here the dates that are most affordable. And if you don't have a return date, that's honestly even better because then you get to just play around and see what dates work best. So you can see August is expensive. Maybe you are more flexible and you can travel September, October. You can see that it goes down to like 300, or maybe November and December. So yeah, it gives you kind of a rough idea. So if I was to go and like be brainstorming on a location, I would just be like, okay, cool. Roughly, I'm looking at about $400 for a round trip flight, and I'm gonna keep that in mind. So one thing to do as you're brainstorming flights is to write it down so that you know what airline and what city to go to. So for example, like if I was just brainstorming, this is sort of when I was going to go to Guatemala, like I would put, okay, this is the amount for JetBlue on these dates, and the duration, whether it's nonstop. Obviously nonstops are the best way to go, especially for long flights. But if, hey, you're in a budget and you need a layover and that's the most affordable thing to do it, like do it. Like it doesn't matter. What matters is that you get to experience that. So definitely take a look and just write all of them down and put them on watch. I love that in Kayak you can also put it on watch so that it sends you notification if it drops or it goes up, and like you need to book right away. So that's another thing that I love about Kayak. You can just put it to watch and it would send you notifications on whether it went down, and then you can book it right away. But if you already have this down and you already know, even write down the name, the number of the flight, and you're going to be good to go. Once you have that flight, obviously make sure you have everything here so that the day of when you're traveling, you at least have one doc where everything is there. So for your departure, obviously you put your confirmation number, your date, the airline time, all the good stuff. All right, so we know we have about $400 for flights if we were to go to London, I think is where we picked. Next, we're gonna look up hotels. Obviously, we're just brainstorming to see if we even want to come here or if this is part of our budget. But next, make sure you go to brainstorm. And for hotels, I love to use Agoda and Expedia. And there's a lot of things to take into consideration when looking at hotels. One, you want to make sure that it's in a central location. where you don't have to take too much transportation. Obviously, if you're traveling solo or even just in general with a group, you don't want to be traveling too much. You don't want to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get to some place, because it just, time is money, right? Like, you gotta get in and get out to make the most of your trip. So definitely pick somewhere where you can walk or maybe use public transportation if it's safe. And that way you can just save time and money. Again, Agoda and Expedia are kind of like my go-to places. I love Agoda. I don't know when I discovered Agoda, but Agoda always has really, really good deals. Their customer service is amazing in case something happens. And I believe they also do price match. And this is not a sponsored video. I should have hit them up to sponsor this video, but I do love them. And again, they just have like really, really good deals. And if something ever happens, you can give them a call and they are just amazing. Again, they also price match. So in case you have something, you see something cheaper in another website, you can just give them a call and they would do it for you. I know traveling, I think the most expensive thing besides flight is hotels. And sometimes like you just gotta like balance it out a little bit. Like, don't be afraid to stay in like a 3-star hotels. There are beautiful 3-star hotels that have great customer service. I think for me, like if I'm on a budget, like all I care about is that hotel is clean and it's an essential location. I am very big on a hotel being clean, and you can find a lot of 3-star hotels that are just very clean, beautiful, antique, and just not all with the luxury things. And if you really think about it, hotels are just for you to sleep. If you're on vacation, especially on a budget, like you're not spending time at the hotel just sleeping or napping. Like, you're up really early. At least for me, I'm up at like 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of go just to change and go to sleep. So don't worry too much about the hotels if you are on a budget. However, if you do want to stay in a really nice hotel, like if I want to stay in a nice hotel that I've seen maybe on TikTok and it's just stunning, and I just say I want to stay there, like stay there for at least 1 or 2 nights, right? Balance it out. Stay in a 3-star hotel that's maybe about $100 a night, and then go to that bougie hotel that may be like 300 or 200, 400, 500 some dollars sometimes. Hotel, just so that you can say that you experienced it. And obviously if you go back, you want to be able to be like, I did everything that I wanted to do. So that's just a little way to balance it out, because hotels can be so expensive, trust me. So definitely do that. Definitely pick a hotel that has free breakfast, because who wants to pay for breakfast? I mean, I'm not a breakfast person, but like every hotel who has free breakfast has the most standard things: waffles, pancakes, eggs, cereal, coffee, orange juice, and bread. Like, what more do you need? So it definitely saves you time as well, and can save you money not having to eat something until maybe lunchtime. Or you can grab a smaller thing for breakfast if you didn't like the breakfast from the hotel. So again, Agoda is amazing. Definitely check out Agoda and Expedia. Of course, I think they have really, really good sales, especially packages. So if you are looking for a package between flight and hotels, definitely use it. That's where they're there, and it can honestly save you a lot of money. I think before it was easier to use packages with Expedia. Now everything is so expensive. Like, do you remember when you can like go to a resort to like DR, Jamaica, round trip resort for like $600? Like, I just don't, those don't exist anymore. Like, it's easily $900 to $1,000. Like, so sad, but that's where we're at. But definitely Agoda and Expedia are your go-tos for hotels. When you write them here in the Notion doc, obviously link it so that it's easy to find, and write some notes down as to why you like the hotel, so when you go back to it, you kind of know the idea. So for example, I would write, this is $150 a night, it's a 4-star hotel, and it's a 15-minute walk from the central area, just so that you know when you come back and you're looking at your options, you can kind of pick the best one based on your notes. So yeah, once you do all your brainstorming, you will confirm by obviously writing the name, address, confirmation, if you a booking ID, if you booked it through something. This is something that I think I booked from when I went to Guatemala. And obviously your check-in dates and when you have to check out. Just again, you have everything in one location and you're not going crazy looking for your emails. Also add your screenshot if you have any, and then you are good to go. All right. Next, restaurant and activities. We today live in a world where we have no excuses. We have TikTok, We have Instagram, we have Google, we have ChatGPT that can tell us the best places to go when it comes to these places. Like, I feel like whenever I'm about to travel, I live on TikTok, just Googling and researching everything that there is about that country. What's the most beautiful places to go, figuring out tips and tricks, how to save money, what to avoid, like all of that. We are so grateful to have it just all in our hands if we just type it in. So for any restaurants, I go look up TikTok and I say, let's say we're going to London restaurants, and it'll show you just all the restaurants that you need to go to. And then obviously just brainstorm it from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you have a list of things, right? The day when you're on vacation, the least thing you want to do is be like, so what do we do now? And just waste time searching things when you could have already, planned things ahead and just moved. So definitely have this list there when you get to the restaurants all the time. I don't think I've ever been to a vacation where I went to a restaurant and they don't at least tell you the top favorite places to go around the area, locations that you need to check out, especially if you're going to a tourist area. They're going to give you all the information that you have, which is great because then you can just add it to your list, or you can be like, all right, they recommended this, we're going to go there. So definitely break it down. Again, add the links so that it's easy for you to look up the menu the day of where you want to go. And just obviously like add a lot. So I like this because as you are doing your research on TikTok or Instagram or Google, you can just add it. Just add, have all your lists, and then you decide later when you're building your itinerary. And then same for activities. Obviously, there are certain activities that you need to do in certain places. When we were in Guatemala, we knew we wanted to hike the volcano Acatenango. So we were like, all right, how much is this going to cost us? What do we need to do? So I was researching a lot of that. And so you want to make sure, like, okay, what are some activities that we need to do? Again, brainstorm it there. I think popular ways to figure out what are some activities to do. Again, TikTok is your best friend. Also look at Expedia and TripAdvisor always have like packages to the activities, so you can look up activities. For example, anywhere you want to go in London, it'll probably give you the Ferris wheel, and then they'll give you prices on how much those things are. So again, you can have a gist of like, okay, I 100% want to do these activities, and here's how much it costs for your budget breakdown. I know the research is a lot and it may seem like a lot, but trust me, it's gonna save you so much stress in the end, and you're just going to feel really good and excited about the trip because you already know what you're going to go there to do. So definitely do the research. I know it takes time. I make Christian do research, and we both have the sheet and we just both add to it. So at the end of the day, when we go to build our itinerary and we book everything, we already have a whole bunch of options to go to, and it's just smooth and efficient. And so definitely do your research, get an idea for prices. I think everywhere you go, like, they have the most popular things. And if you know somebody that's been there, like, don't be afraid to ask them for their itinerary. Like, whenever anyone asks me for my itinerary, I just give it to them. This whole thing that I would book, I would just give it to them. I go to my hotel. If I have a taxi driver I find, like, I give it to them. So never be afraid to ask someone where they stood at and their recommendation to get the best of information. But also, Google also has, like, full-blown itineraries. I think Google and TikTok, like, people will be like, here's my 7-day itinerary for Guatemala, and they'll literally tell you the hotel they stood at, the restaurants they went to, the activities that they did. If they went through an agency, they'll tell you the agency, they'll give you the agency's number. So, like, everything is literally there for you. Like, you don't even need a travel agency. Like, you don't need anything. Obviously, if you have money to book a travel agency and you want to travel with a group of people, definitely do that. But if you don't have the money and you want to go by yourself and be on your own time, like, it's already done for you in a way. So definitely look up just anywhere. If you are going to be somewhere, for example, I want to go to Japan, I will look up 12-day itinerary for Japan, and you can see here people vlog and write down their 2-week itinerary, and it will give you literally everything that you need to pack, everything that you need to do. Tips and tricks, just everything. You can see here, like, this 2-week Japan itinerary, and literally it says, look, transit, day trips. It'll give you everything, like everything you need to go, and give you day by day on, like, detail by detail instructions on what you need. So again, there's no excuse. Like if you want to copy and paste someone's itinerary, do it. All you have to do is just book things. So definitely get those activities down. Now, once you kind of have an idea of your flight, accommodation, transportation activities, all of that, definitely get a cost estimate before you start booking anything. And remember, we're just over here getting a broad idea on how much everything is. So here, for example, for Japan, what did we put? London, Japan? I don't know where we're going at this point. But you kind of just add it here. So if you say my flights are going to be round trip $400, accommodations, for example, I think you said, you know, we were doing 150. Let's just say the total is like 600 for the whole trip. Transportation, let's say to and from hotel, to and from the airport, and like you're staying in a central location, so it's not that expensive. Let's say $150 on transportations. Activities, let's give it another like 250, maybe 300, depending on what you want to do. Food and drinks is maybe a little bit tough, but obviously when you look at the restaurants, you're gonna get an idea on like how expensive the country is. Some are like very affordable, right? And you can eat full course meals with like $40, and some are like really expensive, like New York City type of expensive. So in general, think about how I like to kind of sort of calculate it is about $100 on food and drinks per day. There's some days probably that I won't spend that much, and there's probably days that I may spend a little bit more. But breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I think about $100 per person is a pretty good budget. So if I'm going for about 5 days, I'm going to put $500 on food and drinks. Shopping and souvenirs, again, if you are a person that wants to go shopping, again, shopping like anywhere besides New York is beautiful, and you might get some really good prices, especially on designers. So if you are looking to do that, make sure you budget for that. But for example, for souvenirs, we're here, you can put 400. I do like to give my family some things wherever I travel. Once you have all of this, you can kind of get an estimate of what the whole total trip is. And then that's how you know what your trip is going to be. Obviously, this is per person. So if you're traveling with someone else, you'll let them know that this will be the cost. But also if you are traveling with someone, like you get to split the cost, which is even cheaper. So for example, accommodations, instead of 600, it will be 300. Transportation, you'll divide that again. But overall, like this will be the total cost. I think the only thing maybe you would probably double is the flight and then food and drinks, because obviously they're going to want to eat. But there's a lot of things that you can divide, which is also the fun part of traveling in a group, because some things can be really affordable because you're just splitting everything. So yeah, that is overall the budget breakdown of everything. Once you figure that out, you can say, okay, cool. Do I have an extra $1,000 to travel? And if you do, and you're like, you know what, I want to do it, then you start with your itinerary. Definitely go ahead and book everything. Put all your confirmations here so you have everything here, and then you go into the day by day itinerary. So again, I took this from something else that I was using, but obviously if you're going to be here for 5, 6, 7 days, you just obviously break it down by day. Day 1, obviously, which is honestly I like to say day 0, because when you get there it doesn't really count, but obviously you kind of label it as to what you're doing that day. So obviously you're leaving from New York to Guatemala City, and then from Guatemala City we were going to transfer to Antigua, which is why this was here. And then you kind of just put like, okay, you're going to arrive at this time, you're going to go to the hotel. You write every single detail as much as you can so that you already have everything in hand. So for our transportation, we were either going to take a shuttle to Antigua, we were going to take a hotel taxi or an Uber. And then for dinner options, we were going to either order room service or the dinner options above, which is why it's so important to write down all the restaurants you want to go to here, so that when it's dinner time, you're like, okay, these are all my options. What are you in the mood for? Let's pick one and let's go. And then day 2, obviously the same thing. I like to break it down. 8 a.m. we're going to eat breakfast at the hotel. If we're not feeling the hotel, we have options above because we did our research and we're going to go there. 10 a.m. again, we're going to head over to the park that we were going to go to. And I just write information on like, okay, again, how we're going to get there. And we could take a shuttle, which is about $10, or we can Uber. at the same time. So all the information that you need, try to just write it down here. When you get there, obviously do your research, ask the local, because you might find cheaper spots or cheaper things to do, but at least go with an idea of where and how you can do it. Obviously lunch, there was an on-site restaurant, so I put that there. And then 3 p.m. we were gonna go back to Antigua. 4 p.m. we were gonna do a quick sunset at a rooftop. And then for dinner, I really wanted to go to Porque No or Restaurant Fridas, which was another good restaurant there. So we kind of also had options there. So that's kind of how you really want to break down your itinerary day by day by day by day. So that way you kind of already have a gist. Like if you're on a budget like me, like I don't have 2 or 3 days to be figuring stuff out. Like I gotta go there, know what I want, know what I'm doing, head in, head out. But also especially when you are doing a trip that requires you to travel to different cities, that's a whole other ball game. This is more so like if you're going to one city, but if you're going to a whole bunch of cities where you're traveling, especially I'm planning a trip this summer, which I'm hopefully gonna blog and bring you guys with me, but we're going to a whole bunch of different cities, and that's like this, but like on steroids when it comes to planning, because you constantly have to travel, pack, check out, check into another hotel. But this format alone should help you in doing the same thing, and it should be the same thing. You just divide it into the different, separate it into the cities that you're gonna go to, and then kind of combine it all in your itinerary. So yeah, I think that is overall like what you need to do. Once you kind of have everything, you create your packing list. I like to have a list just because with certain cities or certain countries, you need certain things. But also if you're just a person who forgets things, like make sure you write it down. And obviously bring your portable chargers if you need to get vaccines, like things to know. Like this is where the area where you kind of want to add everything. So that is that. I don't know if that was helpful or not, but those are just kind of some things that I used. Again, to just recap: Expedia, Agoda, TikTok, Google, Kayak, all those sites that I listed are going to be your best friends. Do the research ahead of time so that it saves you time and that you can build and have the most amazing trip. But remember, before you even do anything, just pray and give it to God. And like we pray every minute of every trip that we are in, and we just ask God to lead us and help us bump into the right people. And half the time we bump into the right people that just kind of do the trip for us, and kind of everything just clicks. So I hope this gives you a little bit more of confidence to kind of book your own trip. If there is anywhere that I've been that you would love my itinerary, please reach out. I'm happy to send you my itinerary. And if you like this video and want more, please don't forget to subscribe. I'm here to just share what I learn and what I know, and hopefully it gives you guys the courage to do something new and try something. So until next time, I will be taking you all on my trip to, should I say it? I won't say it yet, but you'll see very soon, and I'll share with you the same exact itinerary that I did for that trip, show you what I packed, and overall take you with me. So I'll see you all next time. Hope everyone has a blessed week.